The Astros had a good week. The week didn't start great, obviously. We lost to the Rangers 6-2. Not a fun game to watch, especially during the end where our bullpen just imploded. But there were takeaways from this. Valdez did amazing. Fromber, absolute GOAT. I just want you guys to take a look at this right now and just dissect it for a little bit. And I'll just talk y'all through it a little bit. He's our player of the game. 6 innings pitched, no earned runs because of the Jeremy Pena error. 4 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and the big takeaway from this is a lot of grounders, a lot of ground balls. We know Fromber is a ground ball pitcher, but when you just put it into perspective and you look right here, you're like, wow, he's a heavy, heavy ground ball pitcher. And just like Josh Donaldson says, ground balls are outs most of the times. If you have a ground ball that ends up being a hit, you're just unlucky at this point. Ground balls should basically be considered outs at this level of the sport. And when it's not, oh well, it's not, but it's not really your fault. And when you have a guy like Fromber just dealing with a bunch of ground balls, that's an asset. That's a huge asset. And honestly, if I'm James Click, I don't want to get ahead of myself because he hasn't been getting great results yet. But Fromber has amazing tools. And with all this data we have right now, with all the ground balls he's been producing, I would consider locking him up for a long-term extension and seeing if we could get it for a good price right now. Because later on, other teams are going to discover this. His agent's going to be like, oh, dude, this dude's an asset. When these results start coming, because they will, he's already producing what he needs to do to get the good results. It's just not happening for him. When he starts getting these results, he's going to cost, and he's going to be coveted. James Click, you should lock him up early, in my opinion. We did lose the Phil Maton blew the lead, and then it kind of blew up later on, I think, with Parker Mashinsky. But we don't talk about that. Game 2, the Houston Astros win this one 5-1. At this point, we were still in the like, oh my gosh, you just win one game and then you're gonna lose the next game and then you're winning another game and then you're gonna like lose the next 3 or something. So this game, like, even though we won by a decent margin, 5-1, it wasn't the most encouraging because like we've seen the story already. It's just not gonna end well eventually. But Kyle Tucker hit a home run. That's great. We already knew he's been putting great contact. And then in this game, I was like, are the results starting to come in? Because that's going to be amazing. Let's go, Tuck. And when the results do start coming in with the X-Will, but when they start to match a little more, it's like he's an MVP candidate for sure. Jake Odorizzi, unironically, is your player of the game. He went 6 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 run, both of those on Mitch Garver's home run, and 1 walk. I did not know I'd be saying this because, after the second inning, I was like, oh my gosh, here he is again. Jake Odorizzi, we all know and love, right? Usually he starts okay for 1 inning and then he implodes right away right after that. Last time he just imploded straight away. But this time he didn't implode. He actually had a great outing. So he's our player of the game. Hey Jake, if you do this to the Mariners today, we could forget everything. We could forget everything bad before. Like just shove today, please. I think there was actually a quote where he was like, he was tired of sucking. So that was pretty funny, Jake. Just stay tired of that for at least another start, because especially after yesterday's loss to the Blue Jays, spoiler alert, and the Mariners win against the Marlins yesterday, spoiler alert, we desperately need to set the tone today. So please, Jake, please. Game 3, 4-3. The Astros winning, of course. I'm a few days late on this one. This is a much more intriguing game because it was by 1 run only. Your player of the game here is Kyle Tucker. No, he's not. Your player of the game is Jordan Alvarez. I read that wrong on my notes. He went 2 for 2 with 2 walks. You love a guy who gets on base like that. But he had a little bit of competition. Chas McCormick. Um, he's my center fielder. That's all I'm saying. He had a leadoff home run. First pitch. Kyle Tucker. Clutch metric. He had a 3 RBI double. Cleared the bases. Christian Javier made his first start of the season. He allowed 2 runs in 5 innings, and that 1 inning when he allowed 2 runs, he was like on 30 pitches. His first inning was amazing, 10 pitches, and then second inning, 30 pitches. And the only reason he got out of that was because Jordan Alvarez, your player of the game, was able to gun a dude out at home, or else that inning would have been disastrous probably, and Javier probably wouldn't have gotten the win because he probably wouldn't have gotten the 5 innings, and it was a 1-run game. So all in all, this game was a lot closer than I'd like it to be. Javier did okay for his first start, nothing special though. And Stanek, you gotta chill, because that last inning, that was tense. Both of the Calhouns sold. Like, Willie Calhoun didn't run on contact when the Astros were having their infield back. That kind of blew the game for the Rangers. Willie Calhoun right now has been sent to AAA, so there's that. And then Cole Calhoun just swung on a non-strike to end the game. So both of the Calhouns sold. Ryan Stanek, tough inning, but he gets the save anyways. Brian Abreu versus Adolis Garcia happened again, and we all remember what happened last year. I'm gonna be honest. Everybody in Houston thought that Adolis was gonna go deep on us again, and it somehow didn't happen. Brian Abreu decided to go off script. It felt like an October at bat right there. I'm gonna be very real with you guys. That felt tense, and I'm glad it ended our way. It's 1:04 a.m. right now. Game 4, the Houston Astros win again by 1 run again. 3-2 Houston. Rafael Montero gave up his first run as a Houston Astros, and it was a bomb off the bat of Corey Seager. We still won the trade though. Okay? Like, don't get it twisted. We won the Rafael Montero trade. Okay? Kyle Tucker, he's your player of the game. He came into pinch hit, and he hit a absolute bomb. It didn't have a high expected batting average, but who cares? Who cares? It was good for 2 runs, I think. I think it was 2. I was taking an exam that I didn't do too well on during this, so I didn't see it. We almost got perfect gamed by Martin Perez. I don't know how, but like I said at first, Chas McCormick, you are my center fielder. He broke up the perfect game with a double, and we don't have to talk about the rest of this game because it's not the best win that you can ask for. And then we headed to Toronto. Everyone's vaccinated, and we came in with a bang. We won 11-7. A few notes: we need to stop letting Jose Urquidy hit the third time. I'm tired. We need to stop letting Jose Urquidy face the order a third time because it does not end well. In 2021, he jumped from a 237 WOBA on the second time to a 296 WOBA facing the lineup for a third time. That's a huge jump. Surprisingly enough, his worst WOBA allowed was the first time through the order with 318, but you can't really avoid that because every time you throw him into the game, it's the first time through the order. So the only thing you can really do, because then from first to second time through the order, it's a great jump down. Like, he improves the second time through by a significant margin. But then when he goes the third time, he just doesn't do well anymore. He can't face the lineup a third time. Dusty, you need to stop doing this. Like, I'm begging you to stop doing this. And then this year, 392 WOBA the first time through, but again, you cannot really avoid going the first time through. You can't just put a guy in and you're like, oh yeah, it's our second time through the order now. Like, that's not how it works. And then again, a huge decrease. Second time through, 332 WOBA. Not a great WOBA, but it is a jump down from first time through the order. But then the third time, that 332 WOBA jumps to a 449 WOBA. Like, it doesn't even matter what the sample size is. He just does not do great against the third time. The third time through the order. It's 107. And there's easily a distinguishable jump in WOBA from second time through the order to third time through the order. So I think in any given outing, unless he's like imploding in the first trip through the order, Jose Urquidy should be limited to 18 plate appearances as a pitcher. And I say plate appearances because walks don't count as at-bats. And so I'm not really sure how you would say that for pitchers. I think it's still plate appearances. Like he's not really appearing at the plate. Phil Maton, like, it was a blowout at this game already. Like, Jeremy Pena went deep at this point. Jordan Alvarez went deep at this point. But Phil Maton, 1 inning pitched, gave up a bomb, like an absolute bomb to Matt Chapman. Let's not do that. Not Urquidy, Maton. Let's not give up bombs to decent, if not below decent hitters. Your player of the game is Jordan Alvarez. He went 3 for 4 with a walk and an absolute bomb to put us ahead by like 6. I think it was 6. It was the 5th run of the inning, so I think it was the 6th, a 6-run lead at that point. And then the rest of the series doesn't go too well. Game 6, a 1-run loss. Every loss, spoiler alert, to Toronto this season was by 1 run. So that's not the worst thing. In fact, given how high the Blue Jays were projected, I find this, 2-4 series to be encouraging. Even though we lost 4 games out of 6, they were all by 1 run, so that's encouraging. We'll talk about that later. Your player of the game is George Springer. He hit 2 bombs, and he put his team in the lead. What? I did pick an Astro. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. It's 1:09 a.m. George Springer is not your player of the game because he's actually an Astro. Your player of the game is Luis Garcia. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, both off George Springer's bat. Like, George Springer single-handedly beat us this game. We should have paid him. And then 5 strikeouts. I'm tired. Let's just finish. And the Blue Jays bullpen, let's just give them their credit right now. They've been doing amazing, and it showed in Game 7 of this week. Dang, I'm covering 7 games. Houston loses to Toronto 2-3, but guess what? I don't care. This one didn't even feel like a loss until George Springer made that diving play. I'm like, okay, yeah, this sucks. But this game felt like a cruising win for the most part if you watch the Astros on defense, because on offense we kind of sucked. But Fromber dealt. Like, I'm sorry, unless you're like 40 and above, I don't see how you could say Fromber didn't have an amazing outing today. Like, I'm sorry, casual alert, if you're gonna say, oh, he gave up 3 earned runs in 6 1/3 innings and he took the loss, that's a decent outing at best. No, shut up. Here is the same graph that I showed you at first, but obviously for a different game. Framber Valdez went 6 1/3, only allowed 2 hits. Look at all those ground balls. I didn't mention this at first, but anything under 10 degrees in launch angle is considered a ground ball by the MLB. So that's a lot of ground balls. In fact, Through the first 6 innings, he had 12 ground ball outs. I actually did not keep track of the 7th inning when he pitched and got 1 out. But who cares? He allowed 3 earned runs. Who cares? And 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, no barrels. He's now one of 2 qualified pitchers to allow no barrels at all this entire season. That is insane. He gave up a home run, and it wasn't considered a barrel. 320 expected batting average, by the way. Phil Maton came in the 7th to try to pick up Framber Valdez after a Jeremy Pena error, and it didn't happen. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit worried about Maton. These last 3 outings have been bad. Like, I get it, he didn't give up any runs. He got 2 outs on a double play. Like, but still, these 3 outings have been bad. I don't like what I'm seeing from Maton so far. I'm hoping he could pick it up, though, but okay. Alex Bregman almost tied the game, but I hate George Springer now, so let's not talk about that cheater. This game might have had the luckiest offense that I've seen. Bo Bichette's home run, as we've mentioned, already had a 320 expected batting average, but so did McCormick's triple. McCormick is my center fielder, by the way. This was just really weird. It wasn't a lot of offense going at all, but Framber Valdez just keeps on rolling this week. And let's just sideline on Framber for a little bit. He's a stud. Like I said already at first, he's got all the tools, right? He's got a wicked curveball. He can get strikeouts when he wants to or when he needs to, I'd say. Like he's a guy who can put up high strikeout numbers, but doesn't always need to because he gets so many ground balls. And when you don't get a lot of strikeouts, ground balls are your next best thing. Like, ground balls for the most part are outs because of the shift nowadays and because of batted ball tendencies. When you don't get a ground ball out, but you produce the ground ball, it's like you're just unlucky. This dude is just, he's shoving. Just shoving. And arguably a ground ball, I mean, not in this case, but arguably a ground ball could be better for you depending on the situation. Like if you need a double play, if you are high on pitch count and you want to just get contact outs, Framber's got all of them right now. He could get strikeouts, he could get ground balls. He's not allowing barrels. This dude is a stud. He's just not getting the results yet, but he's already got the tools. It's not like he needs to just refine anything. I mean, maybe work on the location a little bit, but aside from that, like it's not like much. It's not much he really needs to work on, if at all. But that said, he was high on pitch count after the 6th inning. Did amazing for 6 innings. I was like, okay, let's go. You know, just 2 runs. That Bo Bichette home run. Oh well, it is what it is. Just you're good. Good outing. Take him out, right? No, he came back for the 7th. I was very surprised about that. And then, of course, Phil Maton did what Phil Maton did, and of course, Jeremy Pena did what Jeremy Pena did. And Framber Valdez, I mean, he only allowed a single, and then he got a ground ball off Alejandro Kirk, who's not a very fast runner. It could have very well been a double play, but Jeremy Pena botched it, unfortunately. So even in the 7th inning on a high pitch count, he didn't do too bad. So I can't really blame Dusty too much for putting him out because it didn't really bite him in the butt too much. I just don't agree with the decision in general. But yeah, that's our week. I'm gonna be honest, going 1-2 and losing by 1 run only in those 2 games against the top team in the AL, arguably, I'm fine with that. We have a lot of baseball left to play, and these last 3 series have been very encouraging. In fact, in the whole season series against the Blue Jays, the Astros had a +1 run differential in all 6 games. So, just saying, like, I'm very optimistic now, even though it's not like the best week record-wise. But when you could play 6 games against the Blue Jays and lead in run differential, Sign me up. Sign me up. I win. I win. The Astros didn't win, but I won. Okay. And now we have a very crucial series against the Mariners coming up. Jake Odorizzi will lead it off against Marco Gonzalez. Christian Javier will, I think, face Chris Flexen. I'm not sure. And then Matt Brash closes out the series just like last time against Justin Verlander, though. So we're a little pushed back because we're on a 6-man rotation. But everything is lining up. Very important series. So let's get it done, please. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to stay tuned for more of whatever this video is, feel free to subscribe right here. If you guys just want to check out some more videos right now, this is my most recent upload. Again, thank you guys for watching, and as always, it is Stro season all season.